Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight comes from Tarot of the Abyss, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about maybe doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. And I want to point out immediately, I saw this and it's very cute. We have a person kind of sitting here. It looks like they're in a slumber. You can see the foot here, the face here. It looks like side profile, kind of eyes closed, a little smile. And I imagine kind of dreaming and dreaming and dreaming. Just kind of letting go of all of the stress and worry of the day. Kind of sitting back maybe after you've gotten done with work or your errands, and finding a comfortable seat at home and kind of reclining back a bit, and before you know it or not, you are drifting off. And then, you know, that's when I feel like the most potent visions we really have, at least for myself, right, are right between that moment where you're drifting off and when you're really into a sleep. I always begin to get really, clear imagery, flashing symbols and images and sensations, and often it feels like approaching somebody. You know, it varies definitely who that might be, but it's like when you see somebody that you're about to meet and you're walking towards one another, you can begin to feel kind of their essence, right? You're starting to that chemical engagement is there. And so I look at this and it seems like we're in a happy, restful state, blessed with maybe some beautiful imagery and kind of splendoring in the happy memories and nostalgia. But also, I truly hope that this is kind of seeing forth into the next gateway. I see we have a boat over here. Okay, so I look at this and I think, it really does seem like there's movement towards the future. This is where we are letting the energies, letting the things in our life that have really accumulated in this last period of time, we're beginning to let some of that stuff go. And I think this is why we have the instinct during the spring, during the fall, to clean out our living spaces, right? Do you get that kind of spring cleaning fever that comes? I know I do. The other day I had it myself. It was for unseasonably warm where I'm at, and I'll tell you what, I just immediately got snapped into it and just started decluttering the play area, decluttering the kitchen, starting to take things out of the closet, that I've been staring at every time I go to get snowshoes or, jackets and things. And I look up and I think, oh, there's somehow a basket from last Easter, and there's some stuff shoved up there from, some of the Halloween stuff and, whatever else, a lot of things, a bug catcher. And I thought, okay, we got to start getting through some of this stuff, finding their homes or, evicting them from this space. So, I feel like this is kind of that energy when I see the boat, the ship. It's like, okay, now it's time to, get this tie up loose ends, find some closure in situations that have come to be, in this period of, whatever it's been, if it's the season, if it's the last year, if it's this, the last period of your life, it seems that things have changed a bit. And you're really, I think, getting into that place where it's like, okay, I want a little bit of a clean slate. It's never going to be fully the canvas, whitewashed or whatever, but what is that called? I forget. I went to school briefly for not art, but I took some figure drawing and other classes that I had to paint in. I think actually, now I'm thinking about it, I think it was in my color theory where we had to do some painting, but gesso, the the back of the canvas there. And so I think that we know you can't start again. I mean, maybe you can. I don't know. I haven't figured that out myself. You can't just, you have a lot of things that that stay with us. But, for the things that they do not serve us well anymore. Things that have become, maybe a little messy, maybe a little tedious, maybe, as a passing interest or passion or engagement, dalliance. Yeah, now is kind of that time where it's like, okay, thank you very much. I enjoyed my time, and now we're on to this other part. And I think it does. It brings sweet dreams to start to think about what is next. Where are we going? We're creating all the space in our life. Space for the things that we know that we want. Things that we desire. Things that we will work for. So where's that going to be? And what are we going to spend our time with now? And so we begin to dream, and this is it, right? This is that Wheel of Fortune. Looking into this beautiful place of possibility, potential. Hopefully no whammies, right? If you remember the no whammy. All right, let's see. We're going to turn this thing real quick. I like to get a good look at everything on here. Okay. Okay, so I do see we have a little bicycle here, and we have some birds. I almost kind of see a little scene of somebody watching their child, maybe riding their bike for the first time, or, you know, kind of keeping an eye out while they're out riding around in the front yard or wherever. And I feel like there's a sense of, there is a sense of nostalgia here. There's a sense of, these times that feel like they've passed, and they pass so quickly. You think about them at just, the most random moments. And I think, there is a sense of longing for that. And maybe this is a memory that, of your children or grandchildren. But this may be also a yearning for something that has not happened yet, or, you had really hoped that it would, and it really kind of never came to pass in the way that you had hoped. But, I think that it is interesting. And I know it doesn't feel the same, but I feel like we have this ability to, if we take our time with things like active imagination, or, kind of somewhat like a meditation, but really kind of swimming through our memory recall. And we can get really good at that. I've always been, well, at least not always, not since I was a child or anything, but for some years now, maybe like the last 15 years, I'd say, I've been really interested in a technique called the art of memory, or the memory palace. And it's not exactly this, where you're going back into your memories and you're kind of reliving them, but it is creating an environment where you place objects, that each object kind of has a tie to something that you're trying to remember. Okay, so if you could imagine kind of taking a stroll in a park, right? And there's maybe some benches on the right, and on the left there is a fountain. And as you pass by, you look down, and maybe there's, a leaf sitting on the bench, and you look at that leaf, and that is your mother's birthday. Right? This is where you've encoded your mother's birthday. And then you look over and you see there's a child's ball maybe sitting on the ground. And this is, maybe like all the state capitals or something. This is where you have put those. Okay, so you get my point. But it's interesting what we can do with these interior spaces if we take the time. And I never had heard of people who are they memorize things. I mean, they have whole contests to people who can, not just trivia. I mean, they they have just a real ability for recall. And this is one of the systems that they employ, or techniques, I should say. And so it had me thinking that really we can not only create our own memories, right? Most of our memories are very much mostly constructed by a faulty witness. But we can create them, but we can really live them over and be within them so deeply if we take time with them, And so when I look at this, and I think there is almost like a sense of, I've lost this, I've lost this moment. But have you? When we have these special things, And I'll tell you one of mine, which almost feels like I shouldn't, but I will, because it's one of my most powerful memories, and it's so personal to me, and it's nothing, that would mean very much to anybody else. But I remember right after my daughter was born, we took her to the lake, and we were sitting out there under a tree, my husband and I and my daughter, and she was so little, she was barely in newborn clothes. She was really small, and I had her under this muslin blanket, and the light from the trees was kind of moving over the top of us, and I was kind of covering her face from it, and I remember just looking down into the blanket like it was a cave, kind of, and just looking at her and thinking, I have to remember this moment and how it feels, and it could make me cry thinking about it, but when we spend time with these memories, we actively kind of go over some of them. Take a picture or a video, or, we have it that way. But when you go into it and live it, think about, what does it smell like there? How did it feel? What was the temperature like? What did the air, was the air real dry, or did it feel heavy that day? Was there a breeze? How did my feet feel? Were my feet out, or were they in socks? Were they in shoes? I would think about all these things, right? And the memories I really care about, all of the sensations that I can recall, and I go over them, and and I truly think that, through that kind of time spent, devoted to these certain memories that we honor, because they are living things. These memories, these moments in time, they're as alive as we are. And that might sound silly, but they are. They are. We put life into them. And when we spend time honoring them, they remain alive. They remain so close to us. We are in them in any given moment. So yes, it feels sad when we think back, and it seems so long ago and almost lost, right? But it's not. We can take that dimming light of time. We can shine a light on it by spending time there. And I think this is one of the ultimate gifts we can give ourselves. This is power that can't be taken from us. Nobody can take that from you. It is, I think of these kinds of abilities to, and anybody can do it. It doesn't take anything very special except for the motivation and the devotion. But these are some of the things of true initiation. These are the things of masters. These are the things of the magician, the high priestess, the Hierophant. This is lending life to what we would call maybe something like a thought form. And you can move on from this, from going back into these memories. You can move on from this. You can make your own And this is really when you get into that magical work, right? When you put life into something you have constructed through the psyche. And then, you know, there's this long line of belief that we can then make something like a tulpa, right? And a tulpa is a thought form, something we've not only just imagined, but we've put emotion into it. We've put, you know, a sense of love and fear, and you know, you know, you span the spectrum of. And this thing comes to life. It manifests into the waking world. And it gains power, and it gains power, and it becomes, it can, you know, so the texts say, a sentient being. And so I look at this and I think, you know, maybe you're not looking to create your own kind of spiritual Frankenstein's monster, but don't burden yourself with time past. You know, try not to, because you can go there. You can go looking into that looking glass. You have it. It's right there. Okay, let's see. Now we have a person standing here kind of looking, and it looks like a mound. We have maybe a dog sitting over here watching. And I think immediately of, wow, we've had just today news from Pennsylvania, from old, what's his name? Punxsutawney Phil, right? The groundhog. And so we know spring is coming, as he did not see his shadow. And, you know, and this maybe is not exactly what this is, but I think there is a sense of trying to divine what is to come, right? And I think, you know, there is a real draw towards magical thinking here. I think that you are really in a place where you're feeling connected to the elements, connected to, you know, forms of divination. I imagine so. You are here watching a tea leaf reading. So, you know, maybe this is a good time for you to, if you have, you know, tarot cards, or if you drink coffee or tea, or you like to read grains, or, you know, whatever, look into a bowl of water, you know, go gazing a bit. You could do a candle. I know a pendulum is pretty popular these days. So, you know, whatever it is, there are always going to be messages for you, okay? Any given day, any given time, the universe is speaking to us, and, you know, you have the ability, just like I do, just like my husband. Shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot. Also, if you're looking for a good tarot reading, go over and check out his channel. He is amazing, the best, right? And so yeah, I do. I think there is a sense of curiosity here, looking for some answers, some insights, you know, just a little hint of where are we going next. And that's the big thing I keep feeling. What's next? What are we doing next? But I do see also we have the fish up here, and whatever is in the cards here, whatever's in the tea leaves, it is something that is going to be successful. I can see that clearly. And we have the large fish as well right here. So not only abundance, but a big catch, right? Something quite impressive. And we have that hook right here. This one. So I think that, this isn't just something that's going to fall into your lap. This is, not just, some great aunt I never have met, left me some money when she passed away, and it's just a surprise from the universe that I had no idea this would happen. But I think that this is more along the lines of something you're really working towards, working on, some kind of maybe small business or creative project, or I don't know, maybe you are somebody who is doing gigs, or, the many kinds of, alternative work. I don't know what to call it, gigs, I guess, alternative work that, a lot of us do now to make some extra money. I could see something coming of it, if not directly from that work, maybe building upon it, to having your own thing. And I think this next year, I have such a feeling of things coming together. There's also an ease, which, you might think, with how the world is happening at the moment, at least what it looks like in the paper, there'd be this just unavoidable anxiety. And I think there is some of that, but I also think that maybe you are somewhat like myself, where for one reason or another, you operate well under stress in stressful times. When everybody else is panicking and kind of going down the spiral, or the spiral is, due to things going on in the world that are really mostly out of our control. And that's just the truth of things. You're somebody who puts that energy into action for yourself, working in your direct life, on yourself, on your well-being, on your spiritual wellness, your emotional wellness. You're somebody who, doesn't necessarily talk about how you're going to help your community, your family, but you do. You don't have to post about it. You don't have to, make it part of your identity. You're somebody who lives in the action that you want to see, right? You're doing the things because you want to be of service, because you're living by your convictions and your virtues, and your connection to faith and grace and all of these things. If you are religious or not, it doesn't matter. And I think that partially this is what's going to help you be successful in this next year, this next cycle, because you are focused. You're not going to let that, the pressures of the outer, collective seep into your psyche and, get you all twisted up. I think that, this will be a time that is probably pretty introspective as well. And I think a lot of that comes from just not, paying too much mind to the constant negativity, and it's heightened, and it's on purpose. It's there. we all love a good panic, you know, if we admit that or not. I mean, it just, you can see that in the way that things go. A collective panic anyways. All right, let's see. So again, we have the person with the fish here. And I just see you choosing to really focus on the task at hand, the work. And I also see you, you know, we have the flower, the rose here, and the emotionality. And I always think of the tea that's left here. It's the pool of emotions. And so we have the rose, which is kind of the unveiling of mysteries. You are coming into some deep wisdom. I also see a singular person here. So I feel like there's a sense of kind of really being in this individual state. I think really, not that you are not a social person or you're not close with your loved ones and friends and so on, but I think that this really, in these kinds of times, you really go into yourself. I think you end up spending more time alone with yourself, doing things that are beneficial to you, your overall well-being, okay? And I think that's really important. I think a lot of times, you know, we're kind of conditioned to feel pretty selfish about doing this, about having personal time and our own personal passions and interests and, you know, whatever we end up devoting our time to, if it's not in a more collective you know, sense. But I think that people who find a way to be okay with doing things alone, doing things, you know, not for what we would call clout, right? For the likes or for people to even know that you're doing them necessarily. Not that you have to hide it or anything, but I think it's very genuine. Right? It's for you. And without somebody witnessing it all the time, I think you can be more of yourself with it. When we are being watched, and this is true even on the cellular level, when something is being observed, its behavior changes, right? So, you know, that's something I always keep in mind. Some of the things we just have to do, we have to do without anybody watching us, anybody knowing, anybody's opinion, you know. And so I think this is going to be a really important time for you, Pisces, as far as self-development goes, as far as development of your life. And I really do believe making more resources, money, and so on. Okay, so we have the Mary Magdalene Oracle cards. These are from Megan Watterson, illustrations by Moonju. And I'm going to go ahead and flip through here. We're going to stop where it feels right, and we'll see. It says, beloved, love never ends. Love never ends. I think this is kind of, it is. It's like thinking about those memories. The love is there. The experience is always there. You know, but if we don't, it's like anything else, if we don't spend time with it, it begins to fade, you know. So you have to go into those places sometimes and, you know, kind of recharge them. Okay, Pisces, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all and they mean so much to me. They really do. And I love hearing from you. So I love you. Take care of yourself. And we will talk in just a few days.